What responsibility does the Government of Canada have to protect Canadian citizens from foreign threats or abuse? If foreign diplomats working in Canada attack the livelihood of Canadians, should the police or intelligence agencies react? What if these Canadian citizens are journalists? Does this change the dynamic? In Canada, at this point in time, it appears that foreign diplomats are operating with relative impunity when they make veiled and not so veiled threats against Canadian journalists. This belies Canadian law and our historical roots. The Canadian Constitution calls for the government to provide peace, order, and good government. The Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms calls for the following fundamental freedoms: thought, belief, opinion, expression, freedom of the press, and other media of communication. Historically, our traditions have called for governments to provide security to both the state itself and to the citizens. I don't want to go all philosophical on you here, but a quick review of some of the major thinkers on this issue is worth a quick look.
You are listening to The Quiggin Report on the Possibly Correct Podcast Network. Help support The Quiggin Report by visiting us on Patreon for exclusive offers and additional content at www.patreon.com/Quiggin Report.
Catch Tom Quiggin on National Post Radio, Sirius XM, Channel 167, every Tuesday morning at 8:45 a.m. Hosted by Anthony Fury, columnist and editor for Sunpost Media. Anthony and Tom discuss the intelligence issues of the day, the upcoming Quiggin Report, and Tom gives his analysis based on 30 years' experience working within international intelligence and military services. Follow the Quiggin Report on Facebook, well for now, minds.com, gab.ai, Twitter, and other social media platforms by entering @Quiggin Report. Now back to the podcast.
This brings us back around to the issue of threatening Canadians. The Consul General of Pakistan, that is to say the Toronto office, that office is occupied by Imran Siddiqui. He has referred in recorded phone conversations, one of which occurred on about the 13th of March this year, to journalists Tahir Gora and Tariq Fatah and how he will deal with them. He's not happy with them and he wants them taken care of. In reference to Mr. Gora or Mr. Fatah, he has said the following: 1. We are free to deal with him whatever way we need to do so. 2. We will deal with them. 3. Other people come to us who have isolated him on our instructions. And 4. We are fixing him. For good measure, Consul General Siddiqui also says that all opponents eventually get converted to my ideology.
Flag hoisting will be on March 25th. State flag hoisting shall be done on March 23rd.
That is not whosoever will be there will be invited to come in.
If media got freedom to do whatever, we are free to deal with them whatever way we need to. Due to our restrictions, TAG TV is showing less content against us during the past 10 to 11 months. They have to follow us if they have to survive. They talked about burning Pakistani flag. I have watched Tariq Fatah's interview with Tahir Gora.
बातें कर रहे हैं ये सब मतलब मैंने तो देखे हैं अभी भी शायद लगे हों नो एक्सेप्टेबल क्वेश्चन ये है कि जो
It's not acceptable. Policies come from a person, and you know who this person, Tahir Gora, is. We can't associate with him, and we will deal with him.
क्योंकि जब हम अपने आप को एसोसिएट करते हैं तो हमारे पास लोग दूसरे आते हैं जिन्होंने इनको अभी आइसोलेट किया हुआ है.
If I associate with him, then other people come to us who have isolated him on our instructions. We can't associate with a person who has openly talked against Pakistan and never repented.
All these things. तो अपना तो ऐसे आप बंदे के साथ और वो सबको पता है कि उसकी आइडियोलॉजी को
His ideologies are clear to everyone. We are fixing him. That's why you see less content on his TAG TV. Fixing him will take some time. We are fixing him. That's why you will see less content on his tag TV. You abuse Pakistan, and then you expect to make inroads to Pakistani community. We'll make it impossible. Pakistan opponents who come from Pakistan, when they meet me, get convinced about my ideas.
It's more complicated than that. तो वो मुखालफत उस तरह सोचते मैं तो सारे जो यहाँ पर कम्युनिटीज़ हैं कुछ सिंधियों की भी हैं और हमारे पश्तून भाइयों की भी हैं बलोच में सबके साथ काम कर रहा हूँ और बहुत उसमें आते हैं तो जो I speak to them and there is a surprising और या कहना चाहिए pleasant surprise for me कि they convert.
Surprisingly, all opponents get converted to my ideology.
These comments require some context. The Pakistani Inter-Services Intelligence Agency is widely believed to spy on ex-Pakistani citizens in diasporas, and they spread fear throughout that community. This is consistently done by placing ISI intelligence agents in diplomatic positions, a practice which is not unknown by a variety of countries, by the way. The ISI itself is a violent organization, has previously been involved in attacks against journalists, according to Amnesty International. The ISI also has a long history of supporting groups such as the Taliban in Afghanistan. Other allegations against the ISI have included funding support to al-Qaeda and the distinct possibility that it was the ISI that was hiding Osama bin Laden in Pakistan for several years. ISI Chief Lieutenant General Ahmed Pasha may have personally known of bin Laden's presence in Abbottabad. Oops, that's a little awkward, isn't it? The ISI is believed to exert influence over lawmakers in Pakistan itself, stifle public dialogue critical of the Pakistani military, and to blunt the influence of India, Pakistan's longtime adversary. According to both officials and scholars, the ISI campaign extends to issuing both tacit and overt threats against those who speak critically about the military or the government of Pakistan. In addition to diplomatic missions, the ISI may also send its personnel overseas to work in other functions, such as think tanks. A previous Pakistani Consul General, Imran Ali, was engaged in the process of slandering people on social media and pressuring Canadian citizens not to protest against Canada. This included journalists. So, in short, the ISI is a serious organization with a well-deserved reputation for strong-arm intimidation activities and working with major terrorist organizations. What happens here in Canada when journalist Tahir Gora, for instance, attempts to respond to the situation? Tahir Gora reported a threat to the police of jurisdiction, as is proper in such a case. He informed the police of the nature of the complaint and told them that a recording of the conversation was available. However, the Halton Regional Police Service stated they were not able to register such a complaint. It was not their jurisdiction. It wasn't a significant enough threat, etc., etc. When the complaint was refused, a supervisor was addressed and a similar response was received. The Halton police then attempted to suggest the complaint should be addressed either to the RCMP or to the Canadian Security Intelligence Service. It is not clear why local police forces frequently fail to take action on such matters. It may be a lack of awareness, or it may be political sensitivity. As with many other issues, perhaps it's a matter of political correctness, not wanting to have to deal with a case that has political implications, read Islamists, and other foreign entities. This problem does not originate from just Pakistan, but also from other countries such as Iran, Turkey, and China, which are also known to intimidate or influence expatriate citizens for political or economic reasons. After the failure of the Halton Regional Police to take this event seriously, Tahir Gora told me his story. I decided to approach the RCMP on my own, even though I was reasonably certain it wasn't their issue directly. I contacted someone I know in the RCMP who is sensitive to these kinds of issues. They expressed genuine interest in the case and asked for contextual details. This person did say, however, that the initial complaint had to be registered with the local police, that is to say, the police of jurisdiction for the person threatened. The RCMP person also suggested that a follow-up could and would occur once the relevant sections could be informed within the RCMP, but only if the local complaint was made first. Long story short here, after this goes back and forth a couple of times, as far as I can tell, no action was ever taken. 2 Canadian citizens have been directly threatened by an intelligence agent of a foreign power. But yet these 2 citizens are put into sort of a catch-22 bureaucratic loop where those responsible say they cannot do anything. To be clear, however, the RCMP at least gave the appearance they were trying to do something, and they were trying to prod the local police into accepting the complaint, as is required by Canadian law, by the way. Let's take a bit of a step back from the actual situation and ask ourselves another question. Where are the politicians in all this? Ikra Khalid, a member of parliament from Mississauga, likes to meet with Pakistani Consul General Imran Siddiqui and have her pictures taken with him. When she meets with him, does she tell the honourable diplomat to shove off and quit threatening Canadians? Or is she complicit in this effort in silencing Canadians, much as she is doing with her M103 anti-Islamophobia motion? I was actually going to send a direct message to her on Twitter with this question, but when I tried, it appears she has blocked me. Oh well, so much for transparency and sunny ways. Or is that Sunni ways? I forget. Anyway, doesn't matter. So, what is the conclusion of all of this? What should we think about this entire situation? I think it's fair to say that Canadian citizens are frustrated by these threats being exercised by foreign governments. The lack of will on the part of police and intelligence agencies to tackle these issues renders citizens, and others, such as members of parliament, vulnerable to threats. Citizens are already losing faith in the police to even attempt to push back on such issues. Is this yet another example of depolicing? Given the intersectionality between terrorism, political religious extremism, and the Pakistani ISI, the government of Canada at least needs to outwardly adapt a more aggressive posture to this problem, or in fact, actually tackle it head on. It is the responsibility of the government of Canada, to protect our borders, and to protect our citizens against foreign influences. So far, though, it doesn't look like this is happening.
If you'd like to make a comment or respond to the Quiggin Report in any way, please reach out to us to @QuigginReport on Twitter, Facebook, Minds, or Gab.ai. Also, feel free to send us an email to info@quigginreport.com. Look forward to hearing from you.